Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever, second take of the first ever Epic Live on the Go. That's right. I am coming to you guys from a semi-disclosed location that obviously is not in the Epic, but that's okay because I'm still your athletic and event coordinator, JJ Jefferson, and joining me on the first ever episode of Epic Live on the Go is none other than the big boy from the big country, Mr. 325 from the 325, Mr. DL Hartley. DL, how you doing today?
We doing good. We also in the 325 over here, but everybody knows I'm always in the 325. I don't know where you're at, don't know what area code that is, but it's not the 325 because if it was so, we'd be doing something. We'd be out getting wings together. We'd be doing this at the table, Epic at the table.
I feel that. I feel that. One of these days that's gonna have to happen because we've talked about food, and right before I jumped on this show, I actually stopped at Wendy's, got me a $5 biggie bag. So everything kind of just
Okay.
tied in.
Did you know that they got 50-piece nuggets now for like $15 to $20?
At Wendy's?
Yeah, they just I saw it somewhere. Either I saw it or I imagined it. It don't matter. After this, I'm gonna go get some nuggets. That's all.
That's a smart man. That's a smart man. I'm gonna have to do some digging on that because I'm actually intrigued on these nuggets now. But we can talk about nuggets for
Yep.
days. But what we came to talk about tonight is something that has been near and dear to both of our hearts, and it's actually blown up a lot in Grand Prairie, and that is Metroplex Wrestling. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Man, for those of you that don't know, Metroplex Wrestling is an independent company in the state of Texas, and they put on the absolute best weekly running professional wrestling across the state of Texas. Hands down, you're going to hear that, you're going to see that anywhere that you look. DL Hartley, you were actually featured on the show a couple of weeks ago, which is when we did the first take of this because we talked about Everybody Hurts. And at
Yes.
that time, we didn't know what was going to happen. But now that we're here doing it again, one of the first things that I do want to talk to you about from that show was your match. You were in a match involved with House Sagan.
Yeah.
And the shot caller was called during your match. So give me what you remember from that night and what you took away from that night, man.
Okay, so I am very glad that I was able to attend MPX on a. It was kind of a surprise. We didn't, not a total surprise, so people knew that I was going to be there, but a lot of people didn't. So whenever they saw my merch, they're like, "Oh, you're here? Oh, you're here?" And I was like, "I'm just selling merch. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just selling merch." Well, it was me and Ernie had a little discussion, and Ernie was just like, we need to figure out what to do about House Sagan. I'm like, "Hey, Ernie, I'm right here. If you need me to take care of House Sagan, I'll go ahead and do that." So we discussed, we talked, and nothing was set in stone until Dave decided he wanted to run his mouth and go out there with Isaac, run his mouth. And then Ernie's like, "I got this." And then once Ernie went out there and basically said, "Hey, it's time for y'all to be a couple big boys," I already knew I had to change. I was going in, I got to change, got to get everything good. But we're all good. Everything was settled. Shout out to the addicts because I hadn't been back for a hot second. It's been a while. But y'all, everybody was really hyped to see me, and it surprised me. So thank y'all. But what wasn't so hyped was Paulie at first because he wasn't really. He was sitting down. Paulie was the shot caller, and we had Steve Baker. Shout out to Steve. He was all about it. Paulie didn't really seem to like it, but through on the match, I saw Paulie jiving a little bit, Paulie jiving, but he wasn't trying. He wasn't trying nothing. Well, then it was maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I'm gonna say 3 minutes, 29 seconds, 8 seconds. That don't sound right. 25 seconds into the match that Steve rang that bell. Paulie came in. Now I saw the handshake between Paulie and Dave, and I thought I was in trouble. Okay, but then we all heard the shot heard around Bedford, Texas. Shot heard around MPX. Y'all can go see that. We got Pulver Photography got a very good snap at that. But yeah, Paulie took my side. The shot caller decided on me to win. Did a little Paulie pop slam on him, and then I just went up top, did my big boy splash. 1, 2, 3. I got the win. Thanks, Paulie. Thanks to Steve. I was about 2 times heavier than Dave, but Dave is a former Grand Slam champion at NPX, and I pin a former Grand Slam champion at NPX.
Mm-hmm.
So, I, something in the future, maybe some. Yeah, I mean, I have something, some wings at least. Hey, thanks for.
I mean, to be fair, you touched on a lot there, and you talked about the merch. And shout out for the merch, by the way. I did get my gear.
Hey,
So the beautiful DL Hartley 325 shirt is in. Get yours if you haven't already, because you got to support the big boy from the big country,
thank you
Mr.
so much.
325 from
That's
the
me.
325.
That's me.
No, nobody says it like you, but I always like to give you your flowers where flowers are due. And you touched on the shot caller, and I kind of want to backtrack on that because a lot of people that don't follow MPX or may not know exactly what that is. MPX has done a lot of different things where they like to have the fan, and there go my dogs, where the fans and the audience are engaged, not just cheering and booing and all of the above, but they like to have the audience be engaged in the matches. And the creative geniuses at B came up with the idea of the shot caller. Basically, what that means is one of the loyal addicts purchases a ticket. They get to sit right at ringside, right as the stars are coming out. And each week, there's a different wrestler that sits with that fan, that addict, and they get to ring the bell at any given point in the night, and they choose what they want the shot caller to do. The chaos, who they want to beat down. I think it's 2 or 3 minutes worth of time. In your case, 325. But what is your takeaway from the shot caller? Like, I haven't asked this question to a wrestler yet, but what is your takeaway on the shot caller and the concept of that?
So, in my personal experience, which was I think twice now. I think the shot caller was called twice, a long time ago on me. But this was most recent. Once you hear that cowbell, you don't know what's going to happen. So whenever I got Saban got on the ropes, drove his foot right into my back, hurt a little bit, and so I was just scooting, trying to get away. But that whole time I was scooting, that's when the cowbell started and Paulie came in there. Now I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if Paulie was going to attack me, a 2-on-1 situation. I didn't know if he was going to attack Sagan and then fake it and then come after me. I didn't know anything. So in those instances, everything is put on pause in the match. Like I didn't know who to go after. I was kind of frozen, deer in the headlights. I didn't know what to do at that point. I didn't know if to go after my opponent or go after the shot caller. But I just waited my turn, waited it, and made the shot caller make his choice. And he chose not to attack me. But I knew that if I didn't take advantage of the shot caller situation and I didn't take advantage of the shot heard around Bedford and that little slam, that Sagan could have potentially got up from it, could have used Isaac, could have used something else, outside interference. Don't know what was going to happen, but I know I
Mm-hmm.
needed to pin him immediately. So once that shot caller cowbell is ring, you got to take advantage of it, especially if they're on your side, because like you said, it's only 2 minutes, in my case 3 minutes 25 seconds, but you only have very little that shot caller can do. And we've seen some instances where shot caller gets called and that person doesn't really want to do what the shot caller wanted. That
Right.
happened last year. There's been instances where shot caller was called and they got jumped before they could even do anything in the match, which I think both instances came to Demo Diamond, Mr. Shot Caller himself.
Demo.
Uh, but I don't know now. Now, Dave got another shot call this past week against Big J. So Big J get in, choke slammed him. Paulie slammed him back. Then Paulie got the win.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there might be a needed shot caller match, Demo Diamond versus Dave Sagan. We don't know.
It's not a bad
In the
idea.
sense of the shot caller, you never know what's going to happen. You never know who, whenever they buy the ticket, you don't know what in their mind is. They could just want to run amok and say, huh, this is funny. This would be cool if this happened. And then send out that wrestler to just cause whatever they want. Because if I was a shot caller and someone told me to attack, say, Cavens, I won't be sad. I mean, I would do it nicely. I would do it gently.
I don't think that's a thing. Like,
I
Cavens.
know that's not a thing, Cavens, but like, who am I to take away the shot call? They bought the ticket. I don't want a repercussion. So I could get some of that pay. I could get some benefits from that, and I don't want to mess up my payday.
Right.
But then Cavens he's my boy.
Cavens.
But Cavens, I don't see. You never know because it's on a wrestler side point. Because I've never been the shot caller, never been. But you never know what's going to happen. But I'm just glad I was not attack at that point. I was glad I was able to get the win on my 1 year anniversary on Everybody
One,
Hurts Game Show. 1 year.
that's right. 1 year anniversary. Because 1 year ago at last year's Everybody Hurts, you were in a match with Kari, right?
Yes, I was.
And then this year you had your surprise match, if you will,
Mhm.
against Dave Sagan. So right now at Everybody Hurts, you are 1-1.
I am 1-1. That is good. I started at MPX with a loss, but that's okay because this past recently we gonna keep that a win. Now, I will say I got some new gear coming in,
Okay.
so that gear might have to be retired because I debuted that gear at MPX and lost, and then this past week I've got new gear, so Everybody Hurts 1 year, one on that one, so that gear might be retired indefinitely, all because of MPX. That might be just the MPX gear, the purple and the pink. But let's be honest, I'm probably going to get another purple and pink set, and it's just always going to be my colors. So,
Hey, no, I'm here for it. One of the things I just kind of caught on to is that I'm rocking the purple today too. That's kind of what happens when you love MPX so much, is you start seeing yourself attracted to purple a lot more than you thought you normally would be.
right.
But to kind of touch on the attraction, because that's also something that we have coming up with MPX, is another attraction at the Epic. We just had Destiny not too long ago, March 16th, which
Mm-hmm.
was the biggest, the best, the most epic. So many other words you can throw in there because it was so many things in one. And it was the first time ever that MPX as a company stepped out of their doors in Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it again for another one of their big shows, this time Saturday, June 15th, which is just little over 3 weeks away, as MPX and the Addicts, we're all preparing
Right.
for the Purge. And I know there's been a lot of animosity building.
Oh yeah.
Um, it started at Everybody Hurts. It segued into this past Saturday show at Revenge. But before we touch on some of the bad blood, we gave a shout out to Cavens,
Ravens.
because Cavens was in a match this past weekend against one of my personal favorites, the reincarnation of excellence, Kari Wright. And when I first heard that the match was announced, I felt bad for both of them, and here's why. The winner of that match was gonna go to the Purge,
Right.
but they had to face Max the Impaler. And
Yeah.
me personally, I was just like, I don't think either one of these guys really
No.
wants to win. Like, I think that should be a draw.
That should be fun.
But Cavens won the match. Cavens.
Ravens.
Uh, and now Cavens is heading to the Purge to face Max the Impaler. And I know you and Cavens, you've got history. I talked about it during the first take, and I'm bringing it back again because at some point in time, I need to see 3-2 Cavens in actions, especially against this hero and sidekick gimmick, whatever. We'll touch on that too.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on Cavens heading into the Purge?
Caven's my boy. Always Caven's. Caven's. Um,
Cavens.
I was very, very, very scared. Only because Max, they are. It's another entity, another uh, character from which shouldn't work in wrestling because you're so scared. And it's kind of like on the
Facts.
Sky and Carver. We'll talk about Sky and Carver in a minute, but it's just an entity of like that's not a character. That's not just what you see. That Max is Max 100% inside and outside the ring. So the presence, the intimidation factor going in, especially being the NWA TV champion against little old Cavens, little small boy
Cavens.
Cavens. But Cavens has been in the ring with some of the roughest, some of the toughest, and has still survived and overcome,
Yeah.
got a couple wins. So if anybody can go in there without a shadow of a doubt and turn it up to 11, 100.325%, is going to be Cavens. So that's going to be a match that Cavens probably going to pull out something that we ain't never seen before just to get that win because that is a big opportunity for him.
Hey, that is very true, and on a night that is like no other, because at the Purge, the precedent is kind of set that anything goes. I mean, there's not really a lot of rules, if any. There's not a lot of uh what's the word, traditional wrestling, because at least in previous years at every Purge, every match has had some kind of stipulation,
Right.
whether it's a kendo stick match, Cheerly Legal, Extreme Rules, a street fight, whatever it may be, there's always got to be something that gives at the Purge. And I know Cavens has been there before. Cavens, because Cavens was a part of the Epic Battle Royale, and Cavens, like you mentioned, was in there with some giants. But what do you think is gonna help shift that edge in Cavens' favor?
I think that the experience factor with Cavens being in there with various many wrestlers, from big to small, from tough to tougher. He's been in there with people two, three, four times his weight, his size, and he still finds a way to be quicker, to be more agile,
Uh-huh.
to get on the ups where you can't even catch him. Cavens gets in the air, you gonna have Caven's coming down with some force. He may be small, but he is a boulder whenever he's in the air and he comes down for such force. Just like an anime character. Like, you never know. It's me and Caven bond on anime. You see him and you're just like, what's he gonna do? Wait until he gets in the ring. Wait until he's backed up in the corner, because you're gonna see one of the biggest dogs in professional wrestling ever come out of Caven's.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that, and I'm super, super excited for that match. I'm super excited for some of the other stuff that's going on,
Yeah.
because we touched on there's a lot of animosity brewing.
Mhm.
And I kind of alluded to it with, again, I'm saying it live, the self-proclaimed hero of the people, and his sidekick, Caleb Riley. Oh, they just feel like they can do whatever they want. Like, they've been running roughshod over MPX ever since they won the tag team titles, which Scorny Boys, Gabe, Tommy, if you're watching, if you hear this, I need the Scorn to go back to the days of old. I need you guys, like, there's always going to be a right to fight party, but I need you guys to go back to the Scorn that you were, and I need you to unleash that Scorny energy on these two next time you see them. Because what happened this past weekend honestly is a little sickening.
Everything happens when I'm not there. Like a week, I should have been there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rich. I'm sorry.
I need you to be there more often. Well, to be fair, I wasn't there either. I feel like I could have helped in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Everything bad happens when we're not there. We got to get on the
Right.
same page.
You gotta do something, man.
We got to get on the same page. But to touch on this past weekend, the hero and his sidekick unfortunately decided to go after one of the managers of MPX, Richard Hill. They attacked him backstage, behind the scenes, left him laying, and then proceeded to beat down on the Scorn in a tag team title match that the Scorn honestly wasn't even. Maybe they were prepared for it, but after what they did to Richard, I know those boys were not ready for that match at all. Like, they weren't even thinking about that match. So, DL, kind of give me what's your takeaway on that, man?
Well, first, Caleb Riley was my tag team partner, and I guess I found some success in around Texas and other states, and I didn't really bring him with me, and it wasn't like they were I tried, but over the course of trying, I think he just kind of started walking toward the dark side, which I didn't know was Aaron Eagle. But the more we talked, the more his demeanor, how he was talking, was changing. And I think it was because he was in cahoots with Aaron Eagle. And then so whenever I saw him debut, uh, I first of all was dumbfounded. I didn't know what was going to happen. I guess I've been replaced, but I mean, Aaron Eagle is in Aaron's own right a great talent, just now a bad attitude. Don't know where they got off on being the hero of the people and the little superhero in training, if y'all want to dive into that. But over the few weeks, doing what they did to Richard was not right at all. I had a little bit of a soft heart for Caleb Riley because he was my tag partner, but all that went out the window. So just like you, I'm gonna need the sword to come back and deal with that.
I'm sure hoping so. I know that it hasn't been announced yet, but I personally feel like there's no better scene than the Purge.
Right.
Let's have the official rematch, MPX tag team titles or not at this point.
At this point, put him in there.
Yeah, at this point, let's get them in there. Let's have the Scorn, Gabe and Tommy against Eagle and Caleb. and let's let them just settle this, because
Yeah,
this has gotten to a point where for Aaron and Caleb, I feel like there's no return from this. And we touched on return, and that's actually one of the next things that we're going to talk about, because also at this past weekend show Revenge, we had a triumphant return. Mr. Legs has returned, and
yeah.
he's got himself an ally now. Granted, he's got Randy, he's got Lenny, but now he's got a brand new ally in his battle and in his fights with House Sagan. And this match was just announced, and it definitely gives me great joy to see another tag team street fight. House Sagan, aka Dave Sagan, and Red Chambers are going to take on Mr. Legs. And I don't even know the nickname for him right now other than Mr. Dataville.
Is it Daredevil? I don't. It looked like him. I don't know if
It
it's
looked,
really him though. It looked like him.
the zebra leotard was giving Dataville,
I
but
get that, but you
I
never
saw
know. Like
the arms, and I said, my God.
you never know though. There's there past history of wrestling knows that just because there's one guy that looks exactly like another guy that wears the exact same gear as the other guy and has the exact same beard as the other guy but wears a mask, they're not the same guy. So you don't
You're
really
right.
know
You're
if that's
right.
there. But if it is, then House Sagan has bit off more than they can chew when it comes to Mr. Legs and Mr. Arms. Well, we got Lenny and Randy, but what is Mr. Arms calling? I guess left arm, right arm. What do we got some nicknames for them?
I honestly don't know. I'm almost sure the addicts are gonna throw some
Let's
comments in on Facebook over the next couple weeks.
put them on the comments. Putting just what should we name Mr. Arms? Arms is arms is his arms.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Like, what is a good? You've got Randy right leg and Lenny left leg. What if you had?
Laser and razor. I don't know. Just going off
Oh,
of the dodgeball. I don't know.
no, that's
Lasers,
actually
lasers,
not.
all kinds of lasers.
That's not bad. Laser and laser left arm and razor right arm. I like it.
Don't. Just go ahead. Do what you got to do. Do in the comments. Whatever. Don't go off mine. Put a poll up there. Just spin that. Okay.
No, I like it, man. But there's so much action that is still to be announced at the Purge.
Right.
We've like I said, we're a little over 3 weeks away. So far, some of the other matches that we have featured, we've got Maya World versus Athena that's in the books. We've got an epic death match between Texas Chainsaw, Sky De La Cremosa, and the Carver. Which, if any of you have seen the epic, me personally, I will be watching that match from the third level in the track.
And I will be there too. You can hide behind me. I don't care. We're gonna be safe from there.
Yes, please, because I need to be far away from that. But I want to see it. I want to see it, but I want to be far away from it.
Yeah.
And then as of this weekend, and I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, it seems like something else is brewing. Kari Wright and Hobo JoJo,
Well,
maybe?
maybe. But did you see Kari push JoJo down the stairs? You don't know what condition JoJo's in, but I guarantee you JoJo's been through way more than that. So JoJo's tough. That punch of his is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever going to be announced because of the interference now twice, I think. I guess
It has
maybe
been
not
twice.
interference, but the first time I think JoJo kind of just fell and tripped on Kari the first time.
Which
Uh,
happens.
which happens, but I wasn't really paying that much attention to JoJo because I was making sure my stuff was safe, secured, because I don't know where JoJo's gonna pop up. I don't know what. If JoJo was just chilling outside and Kari just goes on an attack on a rampage and just tosses him in the trash can, throws the trash can down some stairs. So if anybody has an update on JoJo, go ahead and give that to us. But
Monty Cashall. Do we have an update on JoJo?
Monty, let's go. We need something. Come on, Monty.
We need something. Like, we got to make sure JoJo's okay. I've seen over the past couple weeks, JoJo's gotten some newer gear.
Newer, yeah. It's
question mark.
The more successful JoJo is in with Monty, maybe the more gear he gets. Maybe like he might get maybe like maybe a gloves, maybe some boots, some more boots. Maybe another a fur coat instead of a flannel. You never know what's gonna happen with Monty Cashall. You never know what's gonna pop up because he does have all the cash because he is cash all. So you never know.
That is true, but yes, the Purge is around the corner. It is Saturday, June 15th. And one of the things that I actually want to show DL as well as the audience, which I'm
Oh, sure,
pulling
sure.
up right now. I want you guys to be able to see
Oh,
this. You can see this well.
I can see it. Whoa.
Beautiful. So, as always, if you ever want to know more information about what's going on at the Epic, you can go to our website. It's jointheepic.com. More specifically, if you want to get more details on the Purge, like I mentioned, it is Saturday, June 15th. When you get to the Epic's page, if you scroll down to the bottom where it says Epic Extras, you click on that beautiful picture of the Purge right there, and it's going to take you to the website. Once it loads, it takes its sweet time because you know how the internet and technology is. But once it loads up, you're going to see all the information that you need about the Purge, what time the doors are going to open, what time the matches are going to start. There's a link right there. Oh, look, there it is. Finally, it took its time. But you can see when it is. The doors are going to open at 7 o'clock with a meet and greet with the talent beforehand. The show's going to get started at 8. Some additional information that you guys need to know about the basketball court being closed on that Friday after hours, closed all day Saturday for the Purge, and then it will reopen like normal on Sunday. And right here on this beautiful link, you can click on that link right there to go and buy your ticket. Please, if you have not gotten your tickets already, I strongly, strongly encourage you to do so because just like any other show that we've had, which is another thing that I want to pull up on the screen to be able to show the audience here, if you have not gotten your tickets, you need to go get your tickets because this event will sell out. And as a matter of fact, this is a live image from Destiny, which was on March. I mean, look at this crowd. DL, what do you think about the addicts showing up and showing out for
So
Destiny?
I was in the corner, off on the corner, but I didn't know there was that many people. Wow. Good job, JJ. Good job on the epic. Look at that. Always coming out, and the addicts are always up and always being available for every MPX show because MPX is weekly and they show up and show out. And this was a very, very good showing on the addicts. Look at y'all. I'm proud of y'all. I've been very impressed. Look at that. Y'all got to do the same thing.
Yes.
Y'all got to do the same thing on the Purge. You got to do the same thing coming up.
Yes, please get those tickets. Metroplex Wrestling, MPXWrestling.com. Front row is actually sold out. If you follow MPX on Facebook, on social media, you may have seen one of their beloved owners, Mr. Ernie Pruitt, doing the countdown as we were getting close to officially selling out front row. So front row is sold out. All that is left is second row and beyond, which means very, very soon all that will be left will be general admission and standing room only. That is the capacity we are trying to get to. We are inching closer and closer and closer to Purge Night. But before we jump into, kind of the ending and the segue here, I wanted to go back to the main event
Okay.
because it's been announced that it is an epic death match between Sky and the Carver. And when I first saw this, I said, and Fright Fest has a run for its money
Oh yeah.
when I
Oh
first
yeah.
when I saw this announced. DL, I want to pick your brain because as someone that's been in the ring with Sky, you've been around Sky, you've seen what Sky can do in a normal match.
Right.
Um, but to kind of meet his counter in the Carver, I mean, what are you as a wrestler see in this match?
So I and my moments with Sky in the ring have just been in a tag match, but I stayed away from Sky. Okay, I stayed away. I stayed away because I have seen Sky go through hell and back with so many people, namely Matlock. The way they've been doing things. What? How can you go more? And then the Tatum Manning with the fire table. So he's been through so much, and then the last time he was at the Epic, just throwing everything through everybody.
It was
Um,
the hardcore tag match with
hardcore
Mr.
tag,
Legs against the
which
TWC. That's right.
because now the supposed Mr. Arms, who looks like somebody else, and Mr. Legs were both in that match along with Sky, so everybody has that experience. But Sky, I also see it as a mirror match. Whenever you're playing games or when it comes to any anime or any books, when it comes to like you're finding someone who may or may not be on the same level as you or higher, but I'm looking in a mirror. I'm seeing two different people with it may seem the same, but in their minds you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening.
Right.
But to see Sky go through so much and to go research on Carver and see him doing the exact same thing, what's going to happen whenever you have both of those entities in one ring with pretty much everything on the line, no rules, and you have to keep stacking and stacking on stacking to see who's going to survive. It's a point of survival at this point. Like it's not who's going to win the match, who's going to survive the match.
Right.
And I am going to be on Sky's side, but you never know what's going to happen in that match. You never know what's going to happen at the Epic, so you just going to have to show up and find out because I'm going to. Like you said, I'm going to
That
watch the match, but I'm going to be over here.
Hey, that is right. There's plenty of room up on that third level of the track. So if you got to be there, I've got some staff. I'm sure staff will be there with me. But I'm super excited for that show. And you kind of touched on it, which is a perfect segue into the final thing I wanted to talk about. Because if you missed this live, and I cannot stress it enough, you're going to be left asking, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Like, when can I see it? Because me as an addict, I remember, I worked Destiny. I was there. But after it was over, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to go rewatch it. Because typically what MPX would do is they'll re-upload that following week's show on their Twitch channel, and then later they'll upload it to their YouTube channel. But with Destiny, man, we didn't get a Destiny stream until a few days ago. Like it was about a week ago when they uploaded Destiny, and I was just like, man, like I'm waiting.
Right.
I'm waiting.
It's gonna
I'm
end up.
waiting.
I don't think it's just giving like. There's so much that happens at the Epic that those videos have to be pristine, have to be cut, have to be
Yes,
produced right, and it takes a while.
it
So you're gonna
does.
have to wait a couple weeks, maybe a couple months to
Yeah,
see what actually went on. So if you want to know, if you want to follow everybody that's going on at MPX, if you want to continue with these storylines and these matches, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it to show up because I'm gonna show up because I might be free, and if I'm not wrestling, I'm still gonna show up. I'm just gonna chill with the boys, support the boys, always supporting the boys when I'm not wrestling, but hopefully, fingers crossed.
fingers
I'll be
crossed.
there. But either way, in the ring, outside the ring, I'm still gonna be there because I need to watch the Purge.
That is true. And kind of like we were just touching on, and this is the final thing I want to showcase with all of you. We've touched on it before in previous podcasts that I've done, but if you can't get enough of MPX, or if you want to follow MPX and see what they're up to and see what's going on, you can always, always, always follow, support MPX Network. They're live on Twitch every single week, every Saturday night. If you can't make it out to Bedford, you can watch the follow-up to their shows on their YouTube channel. You can see it here for yourself. Shows are uploaded, and you can see for yourself what is going on. Like DL touched on, get into the storylines, catch up, prepare for the next show, prepare for the Purge. If you're like me and you really, really love seeing some wrestling inside of the Epic and seeing the Epic as a different venue than just the day-to-day gym, arts, youth, whatever we are, because we're a lot of things at the Epic. But Destiny is a testament to what exactly MPX, when they are on, and MPX never misses, exactly what MPX is capable of in a facility like the Epic. And I cannot wait for the Purge. If you haven't gotten your tickets, I can't stress that enough. Go get your tickets. Support the best weekly running professional wrestling show in the state of Texas, Metroplex Wrestling. And speaking of supporting the boys, DL, how can we support you and follow you and see more of you?
Well, you know, well, you share screen a little bit, so we gonna share. We're gonna share right here. We're gonna do this. Can we see this? Does this look nice?
Oh, that's glory. That's beautiful.
So this is how you can support me. You see that little QR code on the corner? You can go to that. It's going to show you all my socials. It's going to show you YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can send me a tip if you want to. Send me a donation if you want to. We got some T-shirts that are also on Pro Wrestling Tees, but I also am doing some shirts. So if you want a shirt customized, get to a little bit faster, maybe go ahead and hit me up on that. And you also have my future dates. Sadly, not booked on Metroplex Wrestling, but on the 15th. You see right there on the 15th, it's open. Hint hint cough cough. It's open. If anybody wants to go ahead and let MPX know, let the Purge know that DL Hartley, the big boy, Mr. 325 from 325, is ready to go on to the Purge and mix it up a little bit, then let them know. But that's where I want to be. That QR code has all the information that you need to follow me, to support me, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely beautiful. And the final thing I have here before we come to a close and we wrap all this up, because we had a really great time. And I'm honestly glad that this was the second take of the first take of Epic Live on the Go with Mr. 325 from the 325. What's your final thoughts for the people? I always end every podcast with final thoughts. So what's your final thoughts for the people?
Final thoughts for the people. Get out there, support your local independent wrestling promotion. You're not going to get anything like the experience you have in person, whether it be MPX, whether it be DFW All Pro, whether it be Alvarado, Advanced Pro Wrestling, anything that is in the DFW area and around. There's probably a show somewhere, maybe an hour and a half. So if you can drive 4, 5, 6 miles to go watch the big leagues, you can go right down the street and watch your local superstars, because that's what they are. That's what we are, local superstars.
Right.
We're going to get in the action. We're going to make sure that you come back and you get emotionally invested in everything that we're trying to give you, everything that we're trying to sell you, especially me, because I love supporting the boys. I started this because I was a fan, and I'm still a fan. Just because I'm wrestling don't mean I'm not a fan. So all the emotions that y'all are going to give, I'm going to have too. So definitely get out there, support the boys, support the promotions. Get out there to the Epic, support JJ, support that whole crew. Get out there to the Epic for the Purge. Y'all aren't going to see anything like that anywhere else. I can't stress how big this event is going to be, not only just for MPX, but for independent wrestling as a whole.
No, man, you are definitely right, and thank you for the shout out. I know for a fact, my final thoughts, because that weekend alone, there's going to be so much happening that weekend. For the first time ever in the city of Grand Prairie, we're going to be celebrating Juneteenth weekend at Epic Central that Friday night before on June 14th. So at 6 p.m., I know we've got some promo coming. I'm going to do another podcast very, very soon, by the way, about all of that information. So June 14th, that Friday night, we've got a Juneteenth block party at Epic Central, right there by the water show, right behind Fedora, right behind Finch. So that's going to be really cool. And then Friday night, I get to go to the Epic, set up for the Purge, so I'm barely going to sleep. And then Saturday morning, I get to get right back up and go to Grand Prairie again, because we've got the Juneteenth parade happening right at 10 a.m. That's going to be really cool as well. And then Saturday night, it's Purge night. Like,
Purge.
That weekend is going to be so exciting and so tiring. And for all the dads out there, Sunday, June 16th is Father's Day. So why not celebrate everything in one? You've got independent wrestling, Juneteenth weekend, Father's Day weekend. It's summertime. Like, we finally got some good weather out in Texas that's not storm and rain. So it's going to be a really...
Oh, it's Texas.
Yeah, it's also true. But typically in a Texas summer, at least in June, everything is kind of sort of normal,
Right.
except for the Purge. The Purge is not normal, but it's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be so many things in one. And if you have not gotten your tickets, what are you waiting for? Go get your tickets now. Even at the door, like, we're not going to turn anybody away. We're going to have tickets available at the door. So come see us at the Epic Saturday, June 15th for the Purge. Stick around, join the epic.com if you want to follow more things with the Epic and MPX in the future. And of course, follow, like DL said, support your local independent company. There's so much happening in the DFW area. This is probably the only time I'm ever going to do this because I typically don't do this. But Dallas sports is hot right now, man. I mean, the Mavs are on a roll. The Stars are on the roll. Nah, the Cowboys season is coming around, but it's okay. And the
boys though.
hey, we play y'all week 2, by the way. Just FYI. Who that? We play y'all week 2.
Oh, sorry, I got it's full. Can't talk about the Cowboys. I get a little woosah,
Hey.
who's Farmer? We gotta calm down. Woo.
It's okay. That's why I said this is the one time I'll shout them out. But it's okay. DL, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining me,
Thank you very much.
being a part of this. I'm looking forward to seeing you very, very soon, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in to Epic Live on the Go. Please follow the Epic on our YouTube channel, on social media. We've got more Epic Live content coming soon because I actually have been busy booking some more shows with some of the talent of MPX as we dig a little deeper into the Purge. So please stick around because this series is going to be a lot of fun the closer that we get to June 15th. Again, DL, thank you for everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I
Much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you on the next episode of Epic Live.